Welcome back. Taking your phone calls, 412-575-2600 on the Bordas and Bordas hotline. Josh Taylor, Gene Collier here on the Ireland Contracting Nightly Sports Call. Been talking quite a bit of Steelers and some Penguins mixed into. We have our first question here on Twitter, and the question is, actually it's a comment. James Harrison would still be a Steeler if the Steelers would have beaten the Patriots 2 weeks ago. He planned it all along and his best shot to retire like Bettis, but he's now a Patriot. That's really not really complete sentences. So I'm hoping what he's trying to say is his best shot was to finish his career like Jerome Bettis with the Super Bowl winning to retire, but now he is a Patriot. But there's a problem I have with this. I'll amend this quite a bit. I'll take it a step further. James Harrison's probably not a Steeler if Jarvis Jones doesn't break his wrist in 2014. I'll take it a step there. Gene, I'll let you jump in here with this because that's really when the need for James Harrison started. Jarvis Jones breaks his wrist after James Harrison had already come back to Pittsburgh to retire a Steeler. Comes out of retirement, signs with the team, and we get all the way to this point after they draft T.J. Watt. So now with T.J. Watt performing the way he is, the need for James Harrison gets less and less. But if we see Jarvis Jones maybe not get injured that night in Carolina, or maybe if he plays even remotely above the level that he was at for his last 2 seasons, maybe we don't see James Harrison at all in the Steelers uniform. Yeah,
no, that's all true. And then, of course, with T.J. Watt playing so well right at the start of his career, coinciding with James Harrison's inability to cover, that's why you didn't see him all season. You know, I think he's someone who will have minimal impact from here on out.
I think that's going to be the thing that we all discuss, but it really comes back to that central point. Right. The Steelers at that outside linebacker position expect their outside linebackers to participate in coverage because that's kind of how the scheme is put together. So when you have guys like Watt and Dupree and Chickalo and Moats that can all do that, and one guy in James Harrison who can't, who pretty much only has one specialty and can only do it in certain situations, it probably shouldn't surprise anybody that he didn't get that many opportunities in those situations. Could you have argued that he could get more snaps in passing downs as a pass rusher? Sure, yeah. Absolutely. That's the one argument that I would probably make that I would listen to. Outside of the rest of it, under normal circumstances, the truth of the matter is that he just could not do what the Steelers needed guys at his position to do on a consistent basis. But let's go to the phone lines, 412-575-2600. We will start with Alan in Punxsutawney. Alan, you're on the Nightly Sports Call.
Hi, Josh and Gene. Thanks for taking my call. I want to talk about the Penguins, and here we are about halfway point now of the season. It's win one, lose one, and we hardly have minimal changes. You know, like the trades for Sheehan and the defenseman Alexiak. That's just nothing. Well, we got to start looking at some other issues here, and I think we have a couple luxuries that keep being played, and that's Kuhnhackl and Hagelin. They got like three goals between the two of them. And we got Reeves with one, luxury of keeping a fighter in the lineup. I think it's time to at least look within the organization also. You got that Sprong kid down there in Wilkes-Barre who's doing a great job at least scoring goals. I mean, if we're going to lose with the guys we currently have, why don't we lose with the guys at Wilkes-Barre? At least we got to give them a shot. I think they'll be a lot more hungrier.
Well, that's a good point. Now, here's the question. If you're going to do something without those guys, and thank you for the call, by the way, if you're going to do something without a Tom Kuhnhackl or without a Carl Hagelin, you got to figure out how you're going to get rid of them. And if you're going to move a Carl Hagelin, you got to find somebody who wants, A, his lack of production, and B, his contract as big as it is, and never willing to take it on to give you something in return. That becomes the trick of it. Same thing with Ryan Reeves, same thing with Tom Kuhnhackl. If your fourth-line guys are the ones you're looking to ship out to make a change on your team, you're not aiming to get much in return as far as value. Now, if you're looking at top 6 guys, or maybe even your third-line guys, or maybe even a goaltender, you're probably going to net more of a value in return. But if you're looking at just your fourth-line guys to move to get something, what do you expect back that's going to make your team that much better if you're just improving your fourth line?
Yeah, not very much. Actually, Reeves might have more value in the market than the other two because somebody's always looking for that kind of player, and that kind of player has not benefited the Penguins at all, in my view. In fact, he may have done some damage and kind of subconsciously persuaded them that they don't need to play the same way they played last year. So I don't think he was a good addition.
Now, with all that said, you have your issues between Evgeny Malkin, Sidney Crosby, Phil Kessel. Those are the guys who were scoring your most consistently. If you want to put Patrick Hornquist in the argument, you could. But if you're trying to figure things out, one of your biggest problems is even strength scoring. If you're going to fix that, That's going to have to be a fix that comes within your top 2, maybe even your top 3 lines. But where do you look for a solution? Is it as simple as just bringing up Daniel Sprong and inserting him?
Well, it seems like the obvious thing. He's playing really well. He had a hat trick, I don't know, last night or the night before. That seems as good an option, at least the obvious option right now. You know, what Jim Rutherford is working on may be superior to that, might not be.
Meanwhile, we'll go back to the phones. Let's go to Kyle in Johnstown. Kyle, you're on the Nightly Sports Call.
Yeah, hey, Josh, you're on a great show.
Appreciate it.
Look, what I got to say about the Penguins is, at the end of the day, they have the coaching staff to be a Stanley Cup winner. They have the talent to be a Stanley Cup winner. But it seems like they just stop playing hard. It seems like they get to that point in the season, and they just stop playing hard. And as soon as they start giving that up, they've lost the competitive edge they have over a lot of these teams that aren't really going to be your Stanley Cup winners, so to say, but are still out there trying to, grind it out to get into the playoffs. So I guess what my question is, they have the talent, both in the coaching staff and the playing staff. Do you think if they bear down and play harder, that there is going to be a need for these trades? Because at the end of the day, I mean, this is a team that pretty much unchanged has won the Stanley Cup. So do you think without any big trades, they could just motivate them to play harder?
If it was as simple as motivation, they would have done it already. That's the first answer I have for that. The second answer I have for that is yes, in theory, if they're more motivated to play harder, then you probably will see better results. A good way to look at that is, and I mentioned this at the top of the show, they played 2 games within a week against Columbus. Both games were pretty spirited. Both games were high-energy games. Both games they came back from behind to beat the Blue Jackets in the shootout. Pretty emotional, pretty high-scoring games. And then the game after that, they totally fall flat. No goals against Anaheim. The game after the first goal tonight against Carolina. I think it comes more down to maintain focus from game to game, or is it pretty just predicated on the opponent they face? And if that's the case, that should bother you more as you get into February and March, because if it takes getting that point for them to ramp it up, it makes you wonder, well, if their playoff position is low, then how could they have made it better if they just win a couple of games that might have been meaningless in November and December? That's probably one way to look at it. Got to take a break. We're going to have some more questions when we come back. Stick around.